Good morning, good afternoon, where you are and when you are watching us. Today we have so special session, so special episode. Today we will talk more about amazing tool, so significant tool that support our pathway for sustainable transition. Today we will talk about robotics and automation and how these technologies could be our tool to reach our goal, to be more sustainable economy, to be more sustainable business, or even to reach our SDGs goals. And the most important part for sure, how this automation and robotics technology could support our climate change challenge nowadays. Without further, let me introduce for you our amazing lady today, Anna. Anna, she's amazing lady behind CML Technologies and iDroid, the visionary founder and the CEO, that she's not just a CEO or a founder, she's also an author. She was playing a big role in the market regarding the automation and the robotics in the UAE. She's the one who founded the Association of Robotics in UAE. Her multi-visionary achievement extending to be just in the robotics, but she always supporting all her way here and around the world for all the startups who want to be part of the robotics industry. Welcome, Anna, and thank you again to be part of our episode today. Before we start, Anna, she's a friend, before she's my guest, and I'm always happy to talk with her. We always discuss this kind of how we can achieve robotics and achievement of automation and sustainability. But today, Anna, she will talk with us, and I'm so happy that you will join us today.
Samar, thank you so much. I mean, first of all, it's an incredible honor for me to be here today, because thank you so much for the invitation and for this very kind introduction. Yes, indeed, there are a few projects that are related to robotics that I'm involved in, and as you mentioned, one of them is actually trying to establish a proper ecosystem for the robotics companies and especially robotics startups within UAE, because I believe that UAE is, apart from being an incredible and unbelievable country that gives real opportunities to people, also has all the prerequisites to become one of the leading robotics R&D centers globally due to multiple factors, and particularly as we have witnessed in the last maybe couple of years, the influx of real talent that comes here, and then with that comes also the ability to fund the startups and access to the market, which is a very crucial point for any business, which UAE offers, because it's not only the more or less, let's put it this way, small UAE landscape, but we talk about a bigger access to Middle East, we talk about access to Africa and close proximity to countries like India and even China. So with this...
Yeah, it's really, as you said, is the UAE always a door for around the MENA area. My question for all my guests always, when they are expertise in specific area, why robotics? Why Anna in robotics? And how you start the story to be, let's say, a big contributing in this industry, like a personal story for it?
Well, it's actually a very interesting question, because I would say when I was a kid, I mean, I was born in 1980, so at that time, and by the way, in the ex-Soviet Union, so in Ukraine, and I remember when the Soviet Union was just collapsing, maybe I was around like 11, 10,
Okay.
or around that time, we started to have this influx of American movies.
Okay.
And we watched, at that time, we watched Star Wars, which was like so revolutionary. And up to this very moment, I still remember, it's like one of my favorite movies ever. And funny enough, it's Star Wars by itself have inspired so many robotics
Yes,
founders
actually, yeah.
and scientists to venture into this topic. So this is one thing. But to be honest with you, I was not thinking about robotics for many, many years.
Okay.
But it just happened that this company, my company, CML Technologies, I co-founded with my brother. And my brother has always had the dream to build robots.
Okay.
And
Unusual dream, okay?
yes, and we, I mean, because it's an IT projects invention company, we have worked on multiple projects, but currently we are actually concentrating on iDroid, which is, funny enough, a holographic robot, which in its vision has been somehow inspired by R2-D2 from the Star Wars. So. Once we started working on this project, it just happened naturally that in the end of last year, I got approached by another company also working in the field of robotics, and they asked if I would be interested to collaborate to organize some events for the robotics companies to start with. So we did 2 quite successful events together with Dubai Silicon Oasis. So. Fantastic partners. They have really supported us all the way through. So, and these events went really, really well. And that gave me the idea that
Why I shouldn't,
yes, because when we were having the sessions, I realized that everything is very much fragmented, so there are bits and pieces of everything, and even for the second event, for example, we wanted to do specific, like a pitch day for the robotics startups. And in the beginning, quite frankly, we even struggled to find them, because it's like these people are not that well known, because yet, as I said, this is a very, very new ecosystem, not only here, but globally. There are just very few robotics centers around the world. So
I think this is why you come up with the association.
Yes, so exactly, that was the reasoning behind. So if in order to start forming the industry, it needs to have some point of reference for the mature companies, for their starting companies, for dealers, for supply chains. So basically that's what started to happen. And with this idea, I actually, again, approached Dubai Silicon Oasis because in my opinion, something like this really needs to be supported heavily by their government, and DSO, being a semi-government organization, is probably one of the best partners for this kind of venture. And they have thought about it, and they came back saying, like, you know, it's a great idea, and what we see is, like, we want to develop our ecosystem further, so we want to create a cluster of industry associations, and robotics is basically one of the primarily industries we want to concentrate on. And they asked if I would like to be a face of this initiative. So that's pretty much how the whole thing started.
Amazing. So you started as a dream? It's just watching a movie and then you inspire it, and then because of the demand and you figure out you are in the destiny of UAE is developing the concept of robotics. Okay, Anna, it's lead me to the question, which is will be a discussion in our session today. From Anna perspectives, and since you have been in the area long time, how do you think robotics and automation could be helped to apply our sustainable and carbon footprint reduction? And if you have the specific cases you have been developed or involved in it, could you mention and share with us?
Yes, absolutely. So first of all, I want to talk a little bit about the whole word of sustainability, because I think it's a buzzword, but I think so very few people actually understand the true meaning of it, that it goes not only to the climate and ecological point of view, but it's actually to a more conscious way of living, to understand that there are generations to come after us. So we have to be responsible in every aspect of our life and our activities. And in terms of the how robotics and automation can contribute or is already contributing
Yes.
to the economic landscape of UAE, I want to say that, for example, again, coming back to DSO, they have a specifically designated zone actually within the city that allows to do testing of the technologies such as drones.
Interested. So like their own lab for robotics.
Not really. What they have is basically a field where this kind of testing is allowed.
Okay.
Because coming to the drones, this is probably one of the most advanced technologies that is used a lot for agricultural purposes, for example.
Okay.
Because when you talk about agriculture, you talk about really very big territory, which manually or in any other way is quite difficult to survey. So this is one of the points where robotics, because in the end of the day, drones are
Yes.
a type of robots, can be used quite successfully. Another application, again, that goes back to the economic landscape of UAE is that obviously we do have a lot of oil fields here. And again, to make sure that they operate properly, that there are no leakages and nothing hazardous is happening there, it's much easier, again, to deploy autonomous robotic tools. And once again, things like drones can also be of use. Then when we talk about other initiatives that I am aware are happening at the moment, for example, Dubai Electricity and Water Authority, because they operate these power stations, they're also looking at how to automate this instead of having, for example, physical labor checking how these stations operate and if everything is in order. They're now looking at different ways to automate it. So maybe, like the similar concept of Boston Dynamics dogs. Nowadays, there are several, let's say, manufacturers of this technology. Some are even more advanced. And once you add sensors there, you can do it in a very fast and efficient manner. So in a nutshell, these are some of their, when we talk about sustainability in the ecological point of view, these are some of the
So
things
I believe
happening.
it's we can say that to make better operation process or ecosystem for our business, we could involve the robotics or the automation at any stage. It depends on how we can make it, let's say, suitable and how we can match the needs with this one. It's my personal question. This is more because I'm also interested somehow in data and environmental aspects. Like, do you think how robotics and automation could support us to develop the data, the environmental, let's say, parameter? Like, you already mentioned amazing cases, like as agriculture, as the drones, it's helping in different aspects. We can list it a lot of cases. In terms of giving us let's say we put the robotics in terms of analyzing data or all of these things, which is led me again to the AI. So how AI and robotics could interact together, or how we can link this, because I will have another question regarding the AI, because it's linked in somehow to the automation. So I want you to elaborate more how the data, the automation, the robotics, and nowadays the big elephant in the market is AI.
Yeah, actually, this is a fantastic question. So first of all, coming back to how data obtained by the robots can be used. For example, I have not mentioned, but even in Khalifa University or in Rochester Institute of Technology, there are a couple of student-driven startups that are working on developing robotic solutions for marine exploration. And what they would love to do is to collect all this data that relates to the component of the water, temperature of the water, etc. Because later this can be used by the researchers and by the scientists and by the climate specialists to understand if there are any changes that are happening and what needs to be done to prevent that. But coming back to how robotics and AI are related, basically, robot without an AI is pretty much just a piece of metal
Okay, interesting.
quite useless. And what we have witnessed in the last few months, obviously, like last year, there was the big launch of ChatGPT that became so viral because it's an incredible tool. And it also allows machines to become a little bit smarter, but in a way that they can perform certain tasks. Even, for example, when we talk about robotics, now there are a lot of solutions that allow for this conversational AI to be deployed so that you will be talking to like a robotic avatar, for example, and communicating in a normal way. Not like before, for example, you would call a bank and you would have a virtual assistant and it would take you probably 20 minutes to try to explain. I want to speak to the operator.
I want to talk to a human.
But again, why robots are so useful in collecting the data? Because imagine, like, we humans, we don't pay attention to a lot of things. So even, for example, let's say there is an operator that has to monitor the power plant.
Okay.
Naturally, because it's a very mundane and routine task, you're not going to pay a lot of attention to the environment.
Yes.
Especially unless you have it specifically specified in your checklist.
Yes.
But with the robots, basically they can collect all sorts of data. And after this data can be desegmented and can be processed to improve for certain things, or even when required, they can give a very, very early warning.
And even it could be online monitoring, which is not the human cannot be stand all the time on the site or the facility.
Absolutely.
And if you can allowed me to recall a part when you said robotics and AI. It's like as we said, it's two face for one things. Why now the AI get that attention? And as you said, and I remember one of our session, he was talking what AI is just an analytical system analyzing, and this is actually the pure, I think, base of the robotics and the automation things. Why people get that now, not before? I believe when the robotics come to alive to the market, not everybody think, oh, they will replace us as a human to robotics. But now we have this fear, we have these things. As an individual, why the AI get that exploring feedback? And it's, as you said, it's already exists before as a system attaching to the robotics.
Yes, so basically why AI got this kind of a tremendous boost in the last year. Basically, a lot of people, I think, miss a little bit on the concept, what is the foundation of the AI, which kind of technology. So if we look very deep, and maybe very few people will share, but in the end of the day, the foundation remains the statistical analysis. Now, what has changed is the ability of the machine to process tremendous amount of data in a fraction of time. So now it takes literally fraction of seconds to process unbelievable amount of information, which even human brain is incapable to do. So because of that, and also within the last 10 years, because if you will look, for example, at OpenAI, it's not a new company. They have been working on this technology.
I was like, why now?
Because they have been working on it for 10 years. And when you look at how many data entries they had to do,
really?
Yeah,
okay,
exactly. So that's been a massive, massive project.
That's why I think a lot of people investing now, because the outcome or the expectations of this AI to be getting the level they are dreaming, it will take also more time, or do you think now the scenario will be different?
Look, when it comes to AI, I think we need to understand that obviously it's an incredible tool, but there will always be a tremendous gap between real human intelligence and their artificial intelligence. And maybe it is for the better, but one thing that people are always missing, and it's a very fundamental thing, why you should not be scared of AI.
Yes.
Because if you will look, let's take ChatGPT. Unless you input your prompt there, you're not going to get anything. it's just a blank space.
Still the human leading is
so in
demanded.
order for this technology to work, you need to have the input from the human being. So in other words, human being needs to set tasks to the system, okay? And then this system has the ability to obviously solve it in a very, very highly efficient manner. But without a human, the system is doing nothing.
Yes.
And now coming back to, you gave a fantastic point that now a lot of people are trying to invest in AI. In my opinion, there are two different things that you need to understand. First, there is the deep technology, okay, that becomes the foundation of all other projects or all other businesses, and then there is just a successful business case. Because today we see that there are a lot of copycats of the same idea. So in the end of the day, we are going to have an oversaturated market, and majority of these companies are going to die because if they don't capture the market share, they are basically providing more or less the same solution that is being provided by a luckier competitor, okay? But where I would say there is a big opportunity for the investment and the area that has been overlooked, not only, I'm not talking about UAE or Middle East now, I'm talking about globally still, it's quite challenging. It's in the hardware robotics, because one of the key use cases for the application of the AI technology will be definitely within the robotics sector. And now those companies that are really working on developing some breakthrough technologies, and here I talk not about rather the brain of the machine, but the operational part, like the movement of the machine.
Actually, this is what it led me to ask you about the challenges in the robotics nowadays. What are the most challenges? And I can see it in the market. Is it the demand side? Is it the supply side? Is it we don't have yet this, let's say, big market? Or I believe, as you said, automation is nowadays everywhere around us. But what is the challenges, even as a worldwide or specific also part? I would love to you could highlight it, is about MENA area particularly.
Well, I will tell you globally, actually, the biggest challenge is there are several. First of all, it's a very lengthy and it's a costly process to develop a real technology in robotics. That's why you will see that it's very, very rare case when something breakthrough is being invented by a standalone company, just because you need to spend years and a lot of money doing that. Most common case, which actually we see a lot currently, is that there are specific labs with the universities that utilize the brains of the students, that have the funds either from their donors and sponsors or even from the tuition. So university believes that this is the right basically avenue for the investment, and they invest their own money into sponsoring these labs to promote the development of certain technologies, because once the technology is ready, then the university retains their IP for this technology, and this is how they can actually monetize it. But apart from the very lengthy and very costly process, when it comes to the use cases, so for example, you have developed some really cool one example, ETH, there is a very famous Zurich university. So recently they have been launching a lot of new solutions. And one of such solutions is like a Boston Dynamic kind of dog, but with the wheels. So this is this is a kind of modification to the existing technology, but still, once they have developed, they're trying to find the use case.
It's like the business case, commercialize it.
Correct. So they're trying to find how they can actually commercialize it. And one of the challenges is, find the workable use case so that it can really, it
should be from the beginning. You should design a technology, you will use it for solving a problem. It could be like that, right?
Correct. So this is what is happening in the software world.
All right.
In the software world, people see where is the pain of the customer, and they come up with the solution. In robotics, it's a little bit different because, as I said, it takes years to develop something breakthrough, and then before you can actually even commercialize it. So they have to deploy a little bit different methods. So
Okay.
they have to see which technology is already available, and then using this technology, how to construct the solution that the customer is waiting for. Another crucial point is that obviously market adoption. Because of the still slow pace of the market adoption, and also because of the point that a lot of people have this stigma that robots and AI are going to take our jobs. It's going to be really
hard to deal with them. This is always
correct.
the barrier.
Difficult to deal with the machines. So that's why when it comes to the commercialization, it's always a little bit difficult to find the customers. However, even this starts to change now, because obviously with the successful case of AI, everybody is like talking and raving about it, and now they want to see what can be done in the hardware sector. But anyways, because of the very few customers, the cost of this robotics remains very high.
Okay.
So unless we break this circle, it means that there is a bigger market adoption, then the cost can decrease. And why the cost decreases? Because there are different production methods that are used. So when you make just a few pieces, this is costly. But when you start to go for the so-called mass production, your costs actually drop, economy of scale.
For sure.
So yeah, these are in short a little bit like of their general challenges. But what however, what I see in the UAE, for example, now is that, first of all, UAE has this vision. They want to become the tech leader globally, and they have this ambitious goal, and they want it to happen before 2030. Because of that, on the government level, they encourage a lot of even government companies to adopt technology within their organizations. If we look at the software world, now a lot of the processes are already paperless in UAE. Apart from that, we will see a lot of robotics solutions, even if maybe they're just for fun or just for the show off, but still they're there. They are used by companies like Diva, for example, by Dubai Police. So there is a lot of effort happening from the government side to put the robots in the visible arena.
In the society.
Yes, correct. So that other companies, other businesses will start to adopt it. So I think that in general, in my opinion, UAE is on the right track.
Yeah, I believe nowadays everybody sure and confident that UAE becoming the most digital city around the world. Everything you want to do it, you should go digital. Like even your government documenting and all of this. Do you think maybe we can reach a stage where Dubai could be robotics city? Like you can find serving robotics, gas station robotics around you. Like you can even maybe. In future, someone will host you and make an interview with you as a robotic person.
Actually, you're asking a phenomenal question. And to be honest with you, when I was collaborating with this other company in regards to the Robot Day, we actually started to look at the project that would build a city like that, where everything would be exactly.
So there is someone think like I am thinking.
Yes, and I think that if this project ever comes to life by itself, it can be an incredible experiment, and that can attract a lot of top researchers, because as a matter of fact, we still don't know how comfortable it would be for us to live so closely with the robots. However, on a big picture, I think we need to understand that the world is changing. And I actually, there is one incredible project that is happening in Japan, which I think you love Japan.
Yeah, you know my story.
Yes. So in Japan, Osaka University actually is working on developing an avatar symbiotic society. What means avatar symbiotic symbiotic. They understand that, that Japanese culture is quite reserved, so it's reserved for, it's closed for immigration, and the population is aging. So they understand that in a short period of time, they're going to be faced with the issue, how people are, how are they going to sustain their life?
Yes.
So they feel that robots and robotics in general can be their savior.
Really?
Yes. On the other hand, they also have some population, like people of determination. So they want to include these people in the everyday, give them a normal life. How can they do that? So they have created this project where basically people will be able to operate their robots, avatars,
Really?
yes, in real life, performing various activities and tasks.
I think we should.
It's called Moonshot Goal. Actually, yes, this year, I think this year, in Dubai, there is a very prominent organization, Dubai Future Labs, which is their an affiliate of Dubai Future Foundation. So they collaborate with all the top universities, with all the really breakthrough programs, especially when it comes to robotics. They have fantastic robotic lab in the Emirates Towers.
Amazing. Actually, Anna, now
they brought them.
Really?
Moonshot Goal, yes. They brought it, I think around 10 professors from Osaka universities. So they were talking about this project.
Yes, it's really insightful how you are sharing a lot of projects here in UAE. And personally, I'm not aware about it. That's led me to an inquiry question, you can call it. It's just we as an individual, and also you are highlighting that all the project of robotics is starting from university, which is in somehow we are part of it. And again, you told me maybe we're not to be so comfortable dealing with robotics. From your perspectives, Anna, how we could involve to be more open to the robotics and give really that great interact with them, because personally now this is my own opinion. I'm thinking always why AI get that huge feedback, because it's interact individually with us. That's why it gives us this exploring technology, because it's attaching us for everyday task. So how, and I believe robotics could do this as an individual, I'm talking about industrial side. I believe automation and robotics could play amazing role in terms of efficiency, quality of the product and so on, but individually as a people. How do you think we should interact? We should have this education program starting from, let's say, early stages in our schools or university or startup. As a people, as an individual, how we become part of it, so we can see what is the level that we can this robotics support us or give us the quality of life that we could help us, like the AI when saving the time and all of this.
I think, honestly, in my opinion, this comes naturally, because if we look at the younger generation, I mean, they don't have any fear of robotics. They perceive it as
I think we are the behind generation.
It's not that we are behind. I think that we were born in a very interesting time. So it's literally like in our lifetime, we are living through the tremendous paradigm shift. So even like in the last 5 years, live alone 10 years, in the last 5 years, I think the world has changed so much. And I think that as people, obviously, on a personal level, I understand that a lot of people are very afraid and very resistant to change. But at the same time, I think that technology of robotics has a lot of real value and a lot of real benefit to bring to their humanity. And we can talk about industrial automation, which is definitely like a very valid point. But also, if we look at such cases as disaster recovery. For example, just last month, we had the pleasure of hosting Dennis Hong, who is the professor of Ramallah of UCLA and the director of Ramallah Lab. And he's developing a very profound humanoid, Artemis, which has a very breakthrough technology when it comes to locomotion. However, when he talks about the vision, what actually brought him to develop this kind of solution is that he wanted to give people in the recovery, in the disaster, like nuclear explosion, a chance to live.
Yeah, it's the humanity needs there.
Correct, because instead of sending a human being like it happened in Chernobyl, which was a huge tragedy, how many thousands of people died, literally, because they had to save millions and millions of others, but they had to sacrifice. So instead of doing this kind of really tremendous sacrifices, maybe we can end up having machines that can help us to do that much better. Or if there is an earthquake, now they have this new type of the robots that are basically like snakes. So they replicate, like they move like snakes. And once you equip them with the sensors, again, in case, God forbid, there is an earthquake, something like this can be used actually to detect the survivors under. And you said, like, how can we as individuals take benefit of the robotics? I think that now even there are projects for the household robotics, like you will have a robot cook, robot, exactly, like one tool that will help you to do to manage your household better, which I think will be
interested.
An advantage for
I hope
a lot
they will
of...
not replace us as a moms and a housewife.
No, I don't think
this is the fear I told you.
I don't think that this is possible, because humans will always I mean, you can't machines will never have a heart. I think this is what differentiates a human being actually from a machine. We always
it's like
have hearts.
Alexa, I think the concept when people say we need to have someone at home, we have Alexa, she always replies to us.
Correct, yes. This is actually a type of a robot, actually, for the conversation.
Yes,
conversational.
So as you said, like it's building our, it's everything when we build it based on what we need as a human. And how we approach it as this technology or this concept will cover our, let's say, daily demand for something, then we will be more familiar on it.
Correct.
Anna, I just want to ask you about Anna. I know you are a fan of robotics. Your background is everything is robotics, but from your personal opinion, which industry you want to invest Anna's skills, or Anna want to spend her ideas, knowledge, let's say, and passion in it? Which industry you think as a sustainable approach? Do you think robotics should invest more in it? Like agriculture, industrial, education? As you said, maybe has a robotics as a helping us for home, or exactly where do you think there is the need, especially in achieving our SDGs goals or tackling our climate change? It was really inspiring how you shared the disaster robotics contributing, because I believe this is one of the things it could be invest from my perspective. But as Anna, which industry do you feel like you want to invest more? And since you are also a founder of your own company, where do you want to invest it as an industry side?
Well, that's actually a very interesting question, because as I have mentioned, I have a robotics project as such, iDroid, but we focus more on the entertainment side. However, we actually merged it together with the retail sector, so trying to address the pain points of the retail sector. But coming back to where I would like to invest my efforts, it's an interesting question, because I think I have entrepreneurial mindset. So
yes, I can confirm with that.
Yes, so
every time we sit, we have a new project.
Exactly. So whenever I see like there is a great opportunity that has not been addressed before, I definitely feel like, wow, we can make great business here. So as you're aware, there is also this agricultural project, which in my opinion,
I know it.
Yes, which in my opinion can bring a lot lot of value to the society at large, but also I think that this is a project where robotics, for example, can be essential because without it, it will be very, very difficult to manage.
Yes. Actually, I hope next session maybe we will talk more about the investment that you're developing now in terms of agriculture.
Yeah.
With that question, Anna, I want to say thank you. It was really amazing having this talk with you, and it will always amazing to have this talk with you. I want you to close with just one statement. What do you want to say to the audience, to the startup, to the kids, to anyone? Just what do you want to share, even as a personal message or climate change, let's say, supporting initiatives? Anything you want to say it, just say it. And then I will be happy to close our session.
Yeah, thank you, Samar. Thank you, first of all, for this invitation. It was actually a great talk. But to close it, actually, I was thinking about it in the morning about how robotics and in general how technology is related to sustainability. And I think we raised this issue with you a couple days back when you gave a fantastic example of the Excel sheet, and that nowadays we will not find an accountant who can do a formula without an Excel.
Yes.
So we became very highly dependent on that. So this is, in my opinion, what is the real fear and the real challenge, that we will become over-dependent on the technology.
Okay.
And I think that it's very important, and especially starting from the school, to start seeing it right and to maintain the right balance. So technology is a fantastic tool, but still we need to be able to survive without it.
Yes.
Because if we are unable to do that, then, there is this great saying of Sheikh Mohammed, who was talking about how the generations evolve, and he said that his son is driving a Range Rover, but his grandson is going to ride a camel.
A camel.
Why? Not because there will be no money, but because there is always a possibility that if we don't manage things correctly, it will all vanish. So the most important, these are tools. Artificial intelligence is fantastic, but we must continue to develop our humanity and human intelligence. Without this, we don't have tomorrow. We don't have sustainability. We don't have anything. First here and then the rest.
Amazing, amazing, Anna, as usual. Point. Thank you, Anna. And ending up with this closing with my friend Anna about how we should be a human at the same time, achieving the balance between how we adapting the technologies and how we keep our human identity. Let's say we are not relying on everything. I want to say thank you for all our audience, and I hope this session give you an inspiring to think, to maybe develop a new project, or even understanding how we could involve in our current developing, let's say, trends, everything. We have new things, we have AI, we have robotics, and it's really nice how we are growing, but we should, as Anna highlight, understanding the balance and the needs behind all this. Stay tuned, all my friends, for our next session with more insightful and amazing guests as usual. Have a lovely day ahead, or have a lovely evening ahead. Thank you.